Hey friends, welcome to Ramble Trailerworks. Today I'm going to show you all the things we did to the trailer here at the shop. We did a big power build upgrade, did a number of other little things on the trailer to make it better and more usable, and just gave it a break from the road because we've been beating it up pretty hard for the last couple of years. But if you're interested in seeing what we built, how we built, and all the things like that, join us. Any guesses to what this flashing thing is to my left? Hint, 1.21. Right before Christmas in 2025, we brought our trailer to Ramble Trailerworks in Northlake, Texas. Made our way inside, said hello to everybody. Who was in the Ramble office this morning? I see one Chad.
Hello.
And one Jonathan.
Hey.
And one Piper.
Piper is the most important employee here. Yes, you are.
And then promptly got to work on disassembling the trailer and making plans for what we're going to do coming back after the Christmas break. After the Christmas break, we got right to work on the rig, putting wiring together, getting everything laid out for what we're going to do for this big power build. Piper continued to take naps at every possible opportunity. Some of our parts are delayed in shipment, so we're doing some other projects. Wood projects, making a bigger shelf. Bridge is removed, so we're going to make a bigger shelf up here. How you like your new shelf, Blair?
It's wonderful.
So much room for activities.
I can't even reach the back. Look, you should show it off though, for real.
I did.
Because it used to be this big. And it didn't have this. And now it has that, so I don't ever have to hold it up again. And it goes back forever. I don't know why they don't do that in the first place. Okay. No way!
What's going on, Blair? Did you make some money?
I had my first sale on my Etsy shop.
What kind of Etsy shop do you have?
I wonder if it was just Harriet that bought it. I don't know. I don't know who it is. What was your question?
What's this Etsy shop?
It's a cross-stitching pattern digital download shop. So I draw out all the patterns by hand. Yeah. And then I upload them. And then people can look through and see if they want them. And you got all the AT hiking tags, PCT stuff, Airstreams and RVs. Airstreams, long distance hiking trail stuff. I guess I'll do more birds. And Christmas. I did a lot of Christmas stuff. Okay. Cool. And then Blair learned how to drive a forklift. Good girl, Pipe. Good girl, Pipe. Hey, everybody. Piper and I are here at Ramble Trailerworks, and we come to you today to tell you all the things we've done to the trailer, all the big power builds and all the other little upgrades we've made along the way. So if you're interested, join us. For those of you who may not be aware, this is our 2023 International 27 front bed twin. This is our home on the road, but the factory power didn't cut it for us. We bought it in December of 2022. Over the month of December and into January of 2023, I gutted the front bedroom and I rebuilt the power system. So I added a Victron 3000 watt inverter charger, and I added one GC3 Game Changer Battleborn battery. 270 amp hours. Now, I'm well aware and was aware then that Battleborn and Dragonfly and Victron, if you're going to do a 3,000 watt inverter, they all recommend at least 400 amp hours of battery. I get that. My only intent was with that system was to be able to use the microwave as we traveled around on occasion and to crank up the air conditioning for 20 or 30 minutes at a time. Mostly, if you pull into a campground and you got to go inside the office and check in, and then you got to follow the golf cart person to your campsite, and then you got to back in and do all those things. I wanted, in hot summer conditions or freezing winter conditions, I wanted to be able to crank up the heat pump or the air condition and get the rig heated or cooled. So by the time we were done setting everything up, we'd walk inside, plug in the shore power, and then that would take over. I never intended to boondock for days and days on end using the battery and all the things like that. While we did do that, and we learned how to do that with that one battery, I quickly learned that it did have some limitations. I could run an air conditioner for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours if I had very good full sun and I put my portable solar panels out. But over time, I realized my battery was not discharging properly. I'm not going to go into all the mess about battle-borne batteries right now. That is not for this video, but suffice to say, I still have confidence in battle-borne. I went with a different battery on this one, as you'll see. I noticed over time that my battery would not discharge or would go down to 0%. I noticed the voltage would drop rapidly when the battery got down to 40 to 50%, something like that. And I couldn't figure out why. And it was really only allowing me to discharge 200 of the 270 amp hours. Now, I have sent that battery back to Battle-Borne to do an evaluation of it. And I'm waiting to hear back what their thoughts are on, did it have a dead cell or what was wrong with the battery, because I still don't know. But it was a warranty send back. Once I know more about that, I'll follow up on that. I installed in this rig one 460 amp hour Epoch Elite battery. I removed my Multi-Plus from the rig, and I installed a Quattro, Victron Quattro. Now, why did I do that? When I initially installed everything on this trailer, I never intended to have an onboard generator. That was not something I planned to do. But last May, Sean from Aircrafters invited us out there, and we installed a generator on the rig at his shop in Oxnard, California. Had a great time with those folks, and since I've had the generator, I must say that it's been a pretty great thing, particularly for boondocking. Now, as I've traversed the country a couple of times with the generator and been able to run the air conditioning, for hours on end, staying cool all night long, we're not plugged in, or whatever we needed it for, it's been really, really great to have, and I'm thankful that I do have it now. But that's the first generator I've ever had in all 15 years of camping in an RV, full-time living in an RV. That's the first time I've ever had a generator. So for stage 2 of our power build, I brought in the architect, Chad Watson from Ramble Trailerworks, North Carolina. He flew out to Texas just a couple of days ago to see his masterpiece come to life. Okay, we're here putting the final touches on the trailer here, the big build. So Chad designed my system. I integrated and injected my own opinion and thoughts on things and made him change some stuff, or ask him to change stuff. I didn't make him do anything. But I wanted to add the link system, a different set of link system for the 50 amp DC to DC charger, 2 50 amp DC to DC chargers. We had 1,000 watts coming out of the alternator this morning. It's pretty awesome.
It's really cool to see.
Be able to recharge that battery in no time, taking off, hooked to that truck. Because that truck's got 2 big alternators and 2 big batteries, so it's a really nice option for that. So Chad, thank you for making this cool layout, cool design. I appreciate it very much, and appreciate the Ramble things going on here. But it's been cool, and he's been here, not even 24 hours yet.
No.
Just flew in. This build over here, Matt and Ashley came in to do this one. He sold them their trailer and wanted to be here for their big build and show them where everything would go, and kind of get their thoughts on where stuff will be placed and how it settles out with their trailer. But because I've already had a build in mind, I knew where my things would go, and we've added a few things to here. So it's busy up there. I can't wait to show everybody what's going on inside there, but
Not ready to be seen yet.
not ready to be seen. There's still like all the communication wires. So all the big power wires are done, but now we're just finishing up where we put all the communication wires, and it's really cool. Greg's inside the trailer right there. You've seen him in all the videos, but he's been the one doing all the touchy-feely things, and he's the main technician here doing stuff at the Texas location. So really, really proud of what he's accomplished here under my always looking over his shoulder, and just because I'm nitpicky about the way I do things. So it's been fun. I really enjoyed the time. I really enjoy what Ramble's doing here, and I'm excited for the future of the brand. What do you think of this system, Chad? Now that you see it in person.
I like it. It's Greg did a great job. The wiring is phenomenal now. It looks messy right now, but once it's organized and zip tied, it's going to look great. Yeah. I like the dual XS50s.
That's cool.
That's a cool thing, and you got to have the right truck and alternators and batteries and stuff to do it, and of course the right cables. But I do like your idea of switching it to the Lynx distributor for inputs instead of doing breakers. It's just cleaner and it's going to look good. Yeah. But it was very cool to see 1,000 watts. of power coming off your truck. And that's your bank. Brad's got one 460 amp hour battery, which is almost double what you had before.
Yeah, I had the one game changer before, 270, so 200 more amps, 190.
Yeah, so which is quite a bit more power. But if you set it at Harvest Host and you run things and run the batteries down, you don't have to crank the generator to charge it back up at the next stop. You can drive for a couple hours and you're going to be fully topped off. And so that would be a really good setup if you've got the truck to support it for like a trade wind.
Yeah,
to have the dual XS50s, and you would really be able to get those batteries back up. So that was cool to see. But I think this layout is great. The thing that I think it's important to know is like we're not a one stop, like one build shop. We don't have just like this is what we do kind of thing. So it sometimes has to be tailored to the person. And like for you, for instance, you're full time.
Yep.
You use your camper all the time, and you're battery draw and things like that. So the dual XS makes perfect sense for you.
Sure.
It may not. Now, if you're somebody who stops a lot, like you're doing a one night stop, and then you're going to the next place and you're stopping again, and it's, no hookups, and then because I know people like that, then this would be great for you too. So it just depends on the person, and that's been the fun part working with you and kind of drawing everything out and thinking through things, is to see your mind and how you think through things.
I love it.
It's been fun. So.
And just on that note, every single build we do, what here or wherever, Chad's on the call. It's a video conference call, taking in your needs as a customer and how you camp and how you use your camper and what tow vehicle. It's a whole ecosystem of how we do things, and it's not just you have a 27-foot. This is what we do. You have a 30-foot. This is what we do. We try to cater to you. Now that creates a longer work time. Mm-hmm. Like instead of doing it in 3 days, it may take us 3 weeks. Because it requires some wood cutting and some, building this adapter or 3D printing this thing or whatever else. So it requires some extra work on our part. So that's why it takes a little longer to get the jobs done.
It's a true custom experience because just like yours, we're adding some fans for Brad to make sure we have good airflow over the inverter. A lot of cases we don't need to do that, but in Brad's case we need to. So it's tough to say like, hey, we can do this. You drop it here and pick it up here, and we're to be done in this short amount of time, because we're not just taking the same parts for every unit and plugging them in. It's very much based off of what you need and what's going to fit your camping style, and then we're going to try to work off of that, and budget. Budget is a part of it too. So
it would be nice, I promise, if you just had ABCD cart and you could just install it on every single trailer. It makes life so much easier because you know exactly what to order for everything, and it's much easier. I promise. But these custom builds are a different animal.
And Airstream in general, like Airstream, anytime you pull anything apart, they're somewhat custom built even at the factory, because we'll go to put drawers in or do things like that, and it's like, well, that camper, this was exactly X to this to here, 24 inches or whatever. Mm-hmm. This one's the same floor plan, same model, same everything, is 25 inches. Yep. And so like you can't just build a box, or you can't just well, I guess you could, but you're not going to get the same attention to detail if you do it that way. So it does take us a little bit longer, because every time, even though we've done a build like that, when we pull it apart and we peel the onion back, the part that you can't see, we're like, oh, well, that's different. Okay. Or we need to, we're going to have to route this way, or, whatever it might be. Yeah. So that's something to take into consideration. But I think that's also why it's important to work with an Airstream focused shop.
Yes. Is
that we know that, and we can anticipate at least some of it, and we've dealt with some of it, so we know how to get around, make it happen.
I don't have regrets. I just said if I could go back in time 3 months ago when we were kind of planning this all out, I would have probably removed all the 4 solar panels on my roof and installed some of these new ones. So the bifacial panels, so the sun hits the top and you get light. Sun hits the roof and bounces back this way on the back side, and you also get the light. So I would put some of those panels on my roof and have a much bigger system there.
Yeah, in a 27-foot, we could put
6 panels, maybe.
We could put 8.
Okay. I
could put 8 up there, and then depending on the layout of the roof, and they're all different. So it's possible to put 10.
Yeah.
But it just depends on how things are plumbed up through the roof and what we can and can't cover. So I know like the Morris build, we're trying to put 10 up there, and it's one of those things where it's like, hey, we're going to try to do X, and it's just going to depend on the layout and what room we've got and what we can do. So it might be 8, maybe 10. We're not going to charge you for 10 and only put 8.
I will tell you this from my perspective, because I like to climb up and do things. The more solar, the less room I have to walk around. So when I want to service my air conditioner or climb up top and do a thing or check on a thing, I can't, because I can't walk around because there's so many solar panels up there. So just a consideration for all the RV techs in the world who like to climb up and do stuff.
So we do think about that.
Yeah.
So the way we're mounting the panels is they give you the ability to remove one panel, and then you have access to the roof. So we did think about that, because we have techs installing them who also have to service. And early on when we first started doing this, that was one of the questions from a tech was, well, how am I supposed to service this air conditioner? And I was like, okay, well, let's think through that. And so we're trying to build at least to where you can say, okay, really you could pull any panel. You just reach in, pull the MC4s apart. You can take the panel off. It's just 4 bolts, move it, and then get up there and service. So yes, it'll probably take that extra 30 minutes.
For me personally, like when I just want to put a ladder against the side and climb up on the roof, I want to be able to climb up on that little spot. So that's always my hesitancy to put one up here on this front corner, because that's where I climb up on the roof. So that's just me, and that's full timing, and I'm doing stuff in a campground with one ladder. Kind of, if I had to shop all the time, it'd be a different story. Anyway, it's been great to have you here, Chad. I really enjoyed it.
It's a quick trip.
We got everything fired up here last night, turned on, programmed.
That was fun. It was fun to get to see it come to life. Ran the heat pump on one AC, let it charge the battery overnight.
Fired up the generator remotely. Oh, I need to ask you about auto gen start when the power gets too low if I'm out doing something.
You have that now.
So really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. I'm excited for all the touchy-feely technology things, and I'm really excited to showcase this. I don't know how long the video will be. I've recorded here, there, all around, but I just kind of want to walk everybody through the new system and what it looks like and what it does. Because I've already had stuff in my trailer and on that wall, and I've changed some screens out, and now have holes in the wall that I have to cover up. So there's some of that factor too. But I got to get Chad back to the airport. So.
I was checking the Uber.
You guys have an awesome day, and Chad, thank you again. Love you too.
Absolutely, thank you. Thank you for your friendship.
Yes, sir. Likewise. This new design centers around the Touch 70, and this is the GX Touch 70. So I had the smaller version, 50 maybe, I forget what it was called, but this is the 70. It's a much bigger screen, and it's a pretty cool option. So here's my micro air thermostat, which I absolutely love, and I would 100% do this again. Here's my generator manual button and start and hour counter, light switches that came in the trailer. I used to have a inverter controller over here. I've removed that, so I got this little vent here, screen. And if you'll notice, my TV cable is no longer hanging down here because I drilled a hole in the wall, and now it comes out the bottom. So it runs through the closet. Very, very handy and very clean. So there's the normal view. Things I can see on here. Battery's currently at 98%, propane's at 65%. And I do that with the Mopica tank sensors that integrates into this whole system. 295 watts of shore power coming in, no generator power, and no solar power. And you see I have multiple solar options there. Here I have 180 watts of DC and 120 watts of AC over here, so that's what those two things mean. And these are just little gauges here. And you can swipe the screen, and you can see another view of that, what it looks like. The current battery temperature, generator stopped, whatever else, but I can touch the controls over here, and I can start my generator here, and I can set it up to auto start if I want to. This is my setting for the battery, and I can change my inverter to on, charge only, inverter only, and off. The current charge limit and all those things like that. We've got different setups here. I have a freezer temperature. I have a Ruby tag in there. I have my fridge temperature. I have my front compartment temperature.
And this is set up so that when it gets a certain degree temperature, the fans down there kick on to cool that compartment down. Have a temperature in the gray tank area of another Ruby tag, and then I have one outside in the water heater compartment just so I can see if anything's freezing, just for environmental pieces. Whatever notifications I had a high temperature come on a little bit ago because my fans, I had accidentally disconnected my fans, and then how to set everything up. So very clean screen here, very nice little setup and look up. That's really the only change that's visibly inside. Now there's a couple of other changes that you can't see in here. The wiring. So from the shore power plug over here, all the way up to the front into this compartment, and all the way back to where it connects to the 120 volt and then 12 volt DC fuse panel and circuit breaker panel. That's all new wiring. I replaced what was the 6.3 wire with some very malleable, easier to use wire. But that's really the only change in here is just that screen and, you know, taking some stuff off the wall. I will say that it's kind of sucks that I had a hole right here in this wall because I, you know, changed these things around and moved these things from what I originally decided to do. So just know that if you're going to make changes in the future and you want to move stuff around, you're going to have a hole in the wall somewhere. So think long and hard about where you want to put stuff. One other small change I made was a vent here. So these little aluminum vents are here. And if I pull this drawer out, they are also right there. Now what happens is in this compartment up here, there's a fan pulling air into these, and there's another fan blowing it into that screen on the other side of that wall there. We've gained more than 70% capacity with the Epoch, keeping the same footprint almost in our front space. This new battery is very smart. It actually talks straight to the Victron system, giving us 460 amp hours of continuous discharge to hit the big home runs with all the power systems. So I'm standing in the trailer outside. It's got the portable panel up and the 4 panels on the roof. Now, I'm sitting at an angle so the sun is on one side over there. And I've got 260-ish, 270 watts of solar coming in. Now, I have a 200 watt portable panel on the ground, and I have 400 watts on the roof. But again, the curve of the roof, so I really only got 2 kind of pointed at the sun right now, but they're at an angle, and the sun's pretty low in the horizon, so wintertime. I got 300 watts roughly coming out of the inverter, and I got the heat pump turned on right now on the front AC, and it's pulling 1350-ish watts. This big old battery is pretty great, so it's been great. I've been out here testing everything this morning. I had to secure some wiring in here for my solar controller because I don't know what I did, but when I was bundling all the wires together down in this hole down here, I must have pulled a connection off a little bit because my roof solar wasn't showing anything this morning, but my portable panel was. So I got that sorted out, and I'm about to put a screw in the furniture here and get this thing secured down. So far so good. I've tested both ACs. I've tested everything on inverter. Everything looks great. It's working great, and very, very happy with this system. When we plugged the DC to DC charger up to the truck the other day, we saw a record 1,000 watts of charge at idle coming out of my truck. That is the Ramble standard. Ramble, we are all recommending a 24 volt system for new builds at the shop to save on weight and heat and a number of other things. But this 12 volt system is proof that with the right design, you can still achieve a massive efficiency. You can't manage what you don't measure. So I put the rig and the truck on the scales here this morning to see exactly how all those upgrades and our gear affect my truck. And here's a breakdown. So I've got the trailer back together. Oh, it's Piper's birthday today. She's 10 years old. I got the scales here. I got the screen here, but the scales are under the wheels. I'm about to pull up onto the scales and put a hitch scale underneath, and then I can't talk. And then we will see how much this thing weighs now. All right, let's go. So once I get the trailer on the scales, which I have now I need to get it as close to level as possible while putting the scale under the hitch. And you also got to be mindful that while it's on the scales, there's nothing chocking the wheels. So you got to make sure you're not going to roll off. See what I mean? Just like that.
Let's try this again. See what our hitch weighs. 10, 1150. So 1150 plus 6610. So right now both back wheels are a little light. Let me get this off of here. So now the trailer is perfectly level. I'm going to take a photo of that screen again. All right, you can see here on the scales that the trailer is at 6515, meaning that's what's sitting on all four wheels, and it's perfectly level now. So hitch weight 1150 plus 6515 is a grand total of 7665. Now, when I weighed this, I had roughly 20% water in the tank, meaning I had a little bit in the fresh, a little bit in the gray, a little bit in the black, so it equaled out to having about 20% in the fresh tank. So I can drain that and be below. Not really overly concerned about the gross vehicle weight rating, although I am at the top end of it. Now, when Airstream does all the calculations for the gross vehicle weight rating, it's a tire thing, it's an axle thing, it's a frame thing. So that's how they come up with all that. But so just from a comfort level on my side, I have upgraded my tire. I went away from the Goodyear ST tire to the Michelin LT tire, and it's a commercial tire, so it's a higher speed rating and all the things like that. So that gives me some comfort in that. Also, if you'll notice on that thing, it's the right front tire on the trailer, meaning the curbside front tire, is at 1849, where all the others are roughly, 1550-ish, whatever. So I don't know. It's weird that it's the right front tire instead of the right rear tire, but I do have the spare tire now is on that side of the trailer behind the axle. So that's why it's a different rating on that one tire. Well, that's the only reason I can think of, because there's nothing else heavy on that side of the trailer. Anyway, I'm not unhappy with this. It's fine where it's at. And this is with all of our gear in it. We didn't just take stuff out of the trailer. The only thing that's going to change going forward is weight in the tanks and our refrigerator being full or not. So that's another factor. But all of our stuff is in it. All of our clothes are in it. All the furniture's back in it. Everything's back together like we normally travel. I am changing out. Well, I've already ordered. I just got to get the thing mounted and balanced. But on that spare tire note, that steel wheel, which is a really heavy steel wheel, is coming off. And that Goodyear tire that came with the trailer, the spare tire, is coming off. And I have a new Michelin 16-inch tire and a new aluminum 16-inch rim that I'm going to make my now spare tire. So as soon as I get that thing mounted and balanced, I'll go back and reweigh all this stuff again. I just couldn't get it done in time for this video. So just so you all know where I stand with it. But now I'm going to hook up my truck to the trailer, and I'm going to pull my truck up on the scales and see what the difference is there. Now the truck and the trailer are almost exactly level, so my trailer is like ½ inch a little high in the front, maybe. I can adjust a little bit of air pressure for that, but I want to stay a little high up here for the bounce. And I'm about to pull up onto the scales and see what's up. All right, I got to go back in time and look at my last photo of this, but the truck right now with the trailer on it weighs 10,800 pounds. Pretty cool stuff. I'm going to get disconnected and go do some math. See what's up, Pike. Having a good day? Huh? Blair's coming back. Blair's coming to see you. She's not here yet, but she's coming. All right, scales are very handy. I love having these things, love having this option. And I'll be back in a moment to show you what I found and put some numbers on the screen. Happy with this scale, and I do think all of you out there traveling in your trailer, you need to do this type of weight. Going across the cat scales is a thing. However, you need to get all four tires and your hitch on an individual scale, same with your tow vehicle. And if you're using a weight distribution system, you need to do the same thing with them unhooked and tethered, so you can see exactly what your weight distribution system is doing for you. They do it at Escapees RV Club does it down in Livingston, Texas. I think they do it in Florida also. RV Safety Foundation does it a number of places around the country, and if you can get somebody else to do it wherever you do, here at Ramble in Texas is a spot. Chad in North Carolina will have this kind of set up coming soon. I don't know that he has the scales yet, but he's working on getting that. And I just think it's something everybody should do. It's very important to me to know all where the balances are. And with that comes different tire pressure. So here up on the screen, I have the Michelin tire chart. And if you still have the Goodyear, you can look at their tire inflation chart based on the load on the single tire. This is something you cannot get at the cat scales because you're getting the whole weight of the axle or the whole weight of the trailer there. So you can't really get the proper determination of tire pressure based on the load inflation chart from the tire manufacturer. With that, my now truck tire pressure based on the weight that I carry, not towing, meaning just the stuff in the back of my truck and driving down the road, I'm going to be running my truck at about 45 PSI cold. And when I'm towing, the rear end is going to go up to 70 PSI total. And then on my trailer, I'm going to do 50 PSI all around. And I base that off of that heaviest tire sector. So 1,800 pounds, 1,850 is what I base that number on. So I'm going to run about 50 PSI on all four of my trailer tires. And then I will make a follow-up video based on this because I'm going to check the tire tread depth now, and I'll check it in, when we drive from here, however 1,000 miles out, and see what the tire tread depth has changed and how the trailer feels. And I'll give you some feedback on all that in a separate video coming in the future. And I wish dealerships would get more in tune with this because most times they don't have a clue when it comes to weighing and payload and towing capacity and all that kind of stuff. So it's unfortunate. Anyway, back to the show. Now, before I get fully disconnected here, I wanted to show you my new DC to DC charger plug and the big cable that comes here and goes down underneath and comes through right there. So I have my 7-way pin and my camera here and my TPMS, and it's connected with magnets. You see the zip ties and zip ties and zip ties. So I have little magnets stuck on here. They're super handy so my stuff doesn't drag on the ground. And when I have it stored, I can store it up against the bumper here or up against the frame. And I'll show you what that looks like. So that one will wrap up there and stick on the frame like that. And then I got a little tie, I don't know what it's called, but it's a little wrap thing, tie wrap thing that I can put on here. And just round that a few times, and that's stuck on there like that. And then for the 7-way pin and camera, similar situation. I typically just tuck it in here, but I do like the magnet to the battery box. So those will stay there like that. And the magnets are really handy. You can get those on Amazon. I have a link down below. And I did find if I wrap the DC to DC charger up behind the A-frame, it's a much better look. With my Lear topper, which I think weighs 200 pounds, the deck system, 1,500 pounds slide out, 100% slide out, I think is a couple 100 pounds. And then all of my mountain bikes, most of my tools and stuff back there, all the hyperwear gear that I work out with, my F350 is sitting pretty solid. When I weighed the trailer this morning, it's sitting at its gross vehicle weight rating, so 7,600 pounds, and I've got a 1,150 pound hitch weight now. So I had an 1,100 pound hitch weight, now it's 1,150. I don't have any weight distribution system, as I've talked ad nauseum on many occasions about that I don't use, but I do love and have that air-safe hitch. And I genuinely believe that that saves this trailer from the stiff suspension of my truck. I have the Onan 2500 generator that I installed at Aircrafters in Oxnard, California last May. I had never had a generator prior to that, and I must tell you that I do enjoy it, and I very much like it now that I have it. And I got to use it, because after we installed it, I didn't get to use much of it. And then we took off to Alaska. So coming back from Alaska and then crisscrossing the country again this summer when it was hot and I turned on the air conditioning on occasion, it was really nice to be able to do that anywhere. And I was able to do that with the generator, so I really have enjoyed that. Now I have the Faithful Journey relay box that they made, and it's kind of a set it and forget it kind of strategy should we be boondocking and have to leave Piper in the trailer for some reason. I can set this whole system up now so that if it reaches a specific temperature inside, my generator can automatically kick on, my air conditioning will automatically kick on, and all that stuff just happens without me even being there. It's really nice. Can you see what change I made on the back of the trailer? Have you seen it yet?
All right, I'll tell you. If you didn't know, I put the Ford camera in my bumper, so the Ford trailer camera, and also added the Ford TPMS system to that whole setup. I got a whole video on doing all that. It was not easy getting the camera wire run through this frame, I will tell you that, and I know many of you out there who tried to do the same thing had the same problems I had. I just made it look easy on video because I could cut out the hour and a half of me cussing it out. But my camera is no longer up top, the little camera that the Airstream puts on, so I put a plate up there. Thank you, Ronnie Dennis, for the inspiration. I'm happy with that. It looked clean up there. I'm excited for the new cameras Airstream has, as it makes the back end much cleaner. A few other things we did on the trailer when I was here at the shop was we got on the roof. You know, I verified all the solar panels are good, reconnected all the little connectors that hold the wires up on the roof, put some new zip tie clamps and all that things up there to make sure all that stuff was tight. And I fixed a number of places on the trailer where the sealant looked to be possible leak, so we just fixed it all. And then down here on the belt trim and the midline belt trim and all the way around the trailer, we put some new sealant all around those things and checked all those. I climbed underneath, did an inspection of all the rivets underneath. If you've followed my social media for some time, you know that in this side compartment here, I had a gray floor because it was wet. And the mat that Airstream puts in here, I've removed it and it's in the garbage now because I will no longer use that. So I put this material in here. Thank you very much, my friend Jeff Court, for recommending this. I did put the same thing in my bumper because that's what he did. So I'm following Jeff's lead. And I have since put some in this side compartment and the side compartment on the other side, so it allows some air to breathe in here. And I don't know that I ever made the, I made a video, but I don't know that I ever edited about the bumper part, but that'll be a follow-up to this one and I'll have it out if I don't already have it out. But I'll put some B-roll of it in here so you can see it's just 5.5 of these squares fit perfectly in your bumper across there. Drilled a couple holes, let some water drain out, because if you've ever looked under that mat in your rear storage bumper, you know that it's never dry, it's always wet. So I've alleviated that problem in this closet. The reason for the moisture in here, I've come to find out, was just condensation. So cold underneath and warm inside, and I had this bay open, so allowing humidity to come in here and just kind of set under everything that was in here. So that will be no more because now it can evaporate. It has a place to go. But what I want to show you is the Faithful Journey box here. So this is the way I can remote start my generator using the Servo GX, and there's some wiring going up to the front. So the big cable wires, I think you can see them. Yep. So these are big. So these are the power wires going up front, all the way to the front and up to that compartment and coming back. And this communication wires for the Servo GX and all that kind of fun stuff. But it looks great. Very, very happy with this setup. Now let's go see what everybody really wants to see, the big compartment. For starters, I got a dryer vent out here, and it's blowing air out of it right now. So here's a shot of me cutting a hole in the door. Makes people uneasy. And now the big compartment. If you'll notice, it's much more bright in there than it used to be because I have this cool little LED strip up here. The switch it's not the same switch, but the power for this, what used to be the very dim light in there, is now hooked to this LED. So when I turn it on, it's quite bright in there. There's the brains of the operation, the Quattro. So you have an AC input, you have a big input from the generator, and you have AC output. These two wires coming up through the floor are for the 50 amp DC to DC charger, 2 of those. These 2 are for the generator start. And then I have all the big lugs over there, battery switch, a main 400 amp battery fuse. That's the real brains of the operation there, the Servo GX. And that's the first time I've ever needed to use all the things up there. So I'll go over what's all connected here up on that box. So I have 2 Orion XS50s, so they're 12 volt, 50 amp DC to DC chargers, 2 of those. And they're right over there. And then I have the I have the battery hooked in there, the screen, the Touch 70 screen, and then I have 2
over in that compartment, which you can't see behind that screen, I have two solar controllers. I have a portable solar panel and I still have the roof solar panel. And you see the 3 Lynx distributors. Now, these are really very expensive bus bars is what they are. I don't have the Lynx shunt hooked to these. I like the way they look. They look very clean, they look very nice, and they provide me with quality breakers that I use to make sure that none of these things are popping. So each one of those lugs has its own circuit breaker back behind the blue screen there, and if it were to bust, it would light up the little light on the front. The one over here is its own, and it's all for the DC to DC charger. And then you can see the wiring down there in the floor. Everything is managed. There's a zip tie or a tie to the floor every 4 inches or so, as best we could make it. And then I have the big BEP battery disconnect switch there. And then the little wires running out of the bottom of the Servo GX are your temperature sensors, the remote start for the generator, power, a few other little things like that. This fan on the door is an automatic fan. It senses temperature and it starts blowing air. And you might be able to see inside the screen over there, there's a fan blowing this way. There's another one in that compartment. Here are some other fans that we put on here to blow up into the Quattro, and I did cut the lid off here because that lid typically goes all the way down. But I added these 2 fans so it blows air in there, and then there's an internal fan that blows air out the back. This is my light switch for this LED light strip. And this is just for the front jack. I got to turn my sticker around because I originally had it facing the other way, but that's something I reused from the old trailer, but this is just a circuit breaker for the front nose jack. And this is my switch. So my box, I made a cool little box, which I'll cover later. This box right here allows you to turn your lights on the trailer for rally lights and or emergency situations. So I go one way on this switch, and all of my exterior lights or rally lights come on. I go the other way on my switch, and all of my lights flash. Now, I'll cover more about that in a minute when I talk about my giveaway. But there's something extra special about this setup that I haven't shown you yet. While Chad designed the power, I added the propulsion. This is our 1.21 gigawatt secret. The Epoch handles the AC, but this handles time travel. It's a flux capacitor, producing 1.21 gigawatts.
What did I tell you? 88 miles per hour!
How fun is that? If you don't have a flux capacitor in your rig, who are you? We have to keep it under 88 miles an hour because I don't want to explain to a 1950s mechanic how a Victron Quattro works. That's just stuck on the front of that battery, but that's the Epoch battery. That's the 460 amp hour, 460 amp hour battery. You might be able to see back there to the right of that second Orion XS50 is a shunt. I don't really need a shunt. The battery will talk to the Victron system all by itself, which is awesome. But I do like having the shunt just so you can see both sides of the coin, which one, they're dead on accurate so far. They've been side by side with each other, but if one's ever off from the other one or something, communication fails, I'll still know what my battery levels are. And Epoch sends that little screen right there to come with their battery, and that allows you to Bluetooth. And Epoch has its own app that you can read everything from and update the battery software and do all those type things. So if you are looking to get something built at Ramble Trailerworks, Chad will be the one who designs it. You may be on a phone call with me or a video chat with me and Chad and Jonathan, or Chad and Jonathan, or one of the three or all three. You never know. So if you're looking to get some stuff done here, we'd love to help you out. I want to tell some folks thank you. Jonathan, who's the founder and owner of the store here, thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of this train. It's been awesome. Greg, who is the technician here, thank you very much for all the late nights and days and effort you put into making this, making Chad's dream with vision wiring come true, and my constant looking over your shoulder come true. And I appreciate you taking time out of your life to help make this trailer better than it was before on every level. And a lot of the cool little upgrades and cool little nuances and ideas were Greg's ideas. So thank you, Greg. I'm looking forward to Kyle coming in the shop here and getting things going. Chad, it's really awesome having you always as a phone call away and a partner in this whole operation. So it's really, really grateful. I'm really grateful to Blair for allowing me to continue to do things for this trailer. She goes to work and lets me play on this trailer. For all of you out there who just continue to make us a part of your adventure, I'm eternally grateful for you. I'm eternally grateful for the opportunities we've had in this life to make friends and acquaintances and, you know, members of our family along the way. It's been really, really fantastic knowing all of you. So thank you very much from us to you who continue to just ask questions and be a part of our lives and letting us be a part of yours. So it's really, really fantastic. I love this community. Love, love, love this community. Epoch batteries for making awesome things. Victron for making awesome things. Airstream for making awesome things. I love the rig. I love the community. And I'm thankful to have a place like this where I can get upgrades done. Are y'all ready for a giveaway? Let's talk about that. Whether you're in 2026 or 1955, do it with power. Come see Ramble Trailerworks to get your power upgrades done. I'll see you down the road, everybody. Hey, I got this cool design here from a friend of mine. It's basically you plug in your 7-way pin, and you've got a switch here that turns all your running lights on, or makes all your running lights flash. Now, why might that be important? If you're traveling down the highway at night and you have a flat tire, or worse, you have 2 flat tires, you only have 1 spare on your trailer, so you may need to disconnect from your trailer and drive to a repair facility or a tire shop and pick up tires and come back, unless you can get roadside assistance quickly. Therefore, you may have to leave your trailer parked on the side of the road at some point, and you want somebody to be able to see it. So this box right here has an LED flasher in it, and you just turn it on and off, and you can make all your lights come on like we all do at the rally with the fuse and the 7-way pin. I can't do that anymore on this trailer because I've disconnected that power part of the power cord going in the rig, but you can do it with this box if you have a standard trailer. Now, if you've had a big power build, likely that power cord has been cut coming from the 7-way pin, so this will not work on that setup. That's why I installed it directly into my trailer. I just put this whole system into my trailer itself. So now I got my little toggle switch in there. However, I do want to give this box away. So one lucky winner out there is going to win this box. All you have to do to enter to win is go to our website, 13adventures.com, click on the Contact Us link, type in your name, email address, please make sure you spell it correctly, and then type in flasher giveaway or flasher box giveaway or some semblance of that type thing, and I'll know what you're entering to win. This video releases on Sunday morning to the public on YouTube at 8 a.m. On Wednesday morning, 3 days later at 8 a.m., I will draw a winner, and I will announce that winner across all of our social media channels. And for those of you out there in the tech world, I will have the links to all the things inside this box that are required to build one if you are interested in building your own. It's pretty handy setup, pretty easy device to use. There are many, many people out there, I've seen them before, they have a tube they can plug their 7-way pin in with a switch on it. They have this kind of box. This is, but anyway, this is my box, and somebody out there is going to win it if you'd like. All right. Hope you all have an awesome day. Love you all. Happy adventures, everybody. Bye. I come to you to tell you about all of the things we've done to this truck. And I come to you, and we come to you today to tell you all the things we've done to the trailer. 1.21 gig. This is our 1.21 gigawatt.